Hello everyone, and welcome to the first lecture of the Modern Architecture course by Open Online Academy. I'm honored to be your professor in this course, and during the next week we're going to see the best of architecture in the first half of the 20th century. This course starts from the early 1900s and ends up with the Second World War. And in the 8 weeks of this course we will see some of the most important architects that shaped the architecture of the world that we live in today. They were extremely influential and important, not just because of the buildings and the design that they made, or the paintings or drawings that they produced, but also because of the theories that they generated and the influence that these theories had on everyone else. The reason why we are still looking at these people and their work is because they have brought something to the world and to the world of architecture particularly that is still very influential today. A lot of the buildings that are constructed nowadays still make references to those projects in the early 20th century. So we'll see this incredible revolution that happens between the 19th century, when we have the architecture of the Enlightenment, and then the architecture of the Industrial Revolution with the new techniques that have been developed. For example, the use of iron, steel, glass, later reinforced concrete. And we'll see how these new techniques and these new ways of thinking completely broke up with the past and started something very new. In this course, we will have a combination between lectures, which are the video lectures as the one that you're seeing at this moment, and also virtual meetings every weekend on Saturday morning here in New York, and afternoon in Europe, or evenings in Asia and Australia. We'll be meeting virtually, and I'll send you the link for that, and we'll be discussing the specific lecture of the week. So in a way, you'll have the pre-recorded video lectures and then the actual real-time conversations with me and with other people participating in the course. This is the first SPOC, or small private online course, that we are working with. So in a way, it's an experiment to see how the online teaching could work in the context of a smaller course, instead of making it open and to anyone, where we usually have thousands of people participating. In this course, we'll make an experiment to work with a smaller amount of people, so we can give you the maximum attention, and you can benefit from, let's say, personal interaction with me and with our teaching assistants who will be helping me during the course. And I think that you will really enjoy it and that you will get the most of it. In addition to the video lectures, you will have some readings which I'll be scanning in the next weeks for you, and we'll be posting for you online. We'll be using mainly this book that's called Modern Architecture, A Critical History by my dear friend and Professor Kenneth Frampton from Columbia University. I strongly advise you to buy this book and to not just put it on your table, but to read it. And there are a few other books that you can look into. For example, this one is Modern Architecture by Alan Colquhoun, former Princeton professor. He's also British, and it's a little bit easier to read than the book by Professor Kenneth Frampton. You may also look into the books of William Curtis. He has Modern Architecture since 1900s, or also the book of Jean-Louis Cohen, Architecture of the Future since 1889. There are a few other texts that I would recommend. For example, if you speak Italian, there's the Bruno Zevi texts, or also Leonardo Benevolo, or Fanelli and Gargiani's books on modern architecture. So As you can see, there are plenty of texts that are available, but I think you will really benefit from these lectures and from our conversations, and you get a really good sense of the architecture of the 20th century. Now, why are we studying architecture and how can you benefit from it? There are a few different reasons. First of all, if you're a practicing architect, these lectures and what you learn in this course will be extremely helpful for you to understand the profession and to get some really useful ideas for your own practice. Secondly, if you're not a practicing architect, but if you have general interest in architecture, from this course you're going to learn something that helps you understand the world that we live in. You understand why the cities that we live in today are shaped the way they are, why are the buildings made the way they are, what are the materials that these projects are made out of, what are the social implications of architecture and how architecture has been able to really, as a world craft, define the world that we live in. You'll see the evolution of architecture from something that was quite different in the 19th century until the 20th century, and you notice all these remarkable changes that architects and urban designers and planners have been able to produce in our cities. So I wish you a wonderful course, and I look forward to seeing you in the next weeks. Follow me in the next lectures, and I will be discussing them during our virtual meetings. Welcome to the course on modern architecture.